Who is my customer? Where is my customer? What should I say to my customer? Using the word you in my advertising messaging, in my sales communications, in my emails, and in the way I speak to my customer in general. What do I say to him, and why should I say that to him? Why shouldn't I say something else to him? And should I say the same thing to him or her or it, whoever is my customer? When should I say what? Should I say the same thing again and again? And then finally, how do I reach my customer in order to say this? Ladies and gentlemen, men and women of the audience, my dear viewer, hello. My name's Hussein Zaidi. Thank you for visiting salesandmarketingforyou.com or my YouTube channel, or clicking on your friend's link, whatever got you to where you're looking at me explaining you marketing to you. You marketing is about you because I'm talking to you right now. Therefore, if I'm talking to you, that should be the word I use the most. These are the 4 fundamental questions of marketing. And I might as well say marketing and sales. Sales is a subset of marketing, and sales and marketing is only about who is my customer, where is my customer, what do I say to my, how do I reach my customer, and what do I say? You know what, dear viewer, in my haste today, I actually muddled up the order of 2 of these in my haste. However, haste doesn't make waste when you're talking about a perfect system. For instance, you got to understand that in a circular system, any point is the beginning and any point is the end. And every system that is perfect is a circular system. You're born, you grow, you die, and your flesh and bones and material goes into the earth, and plants come out of that, or other people. You understand what I'm saying from, where I'm coming from, my dear viewer. So sales and marketing is essentially all of these 4 things. It's nothing but these 4 things. Now there's a school of thought, which is my own, of course, because I'm the one who came up with this. There's a school of thought that says, this is great for getting a customer, but once we have a customer, is it the same thing? And the answer is you're a genius, and of course it's not the same thing. After the sale, it's not sales once you have a customer. After that, you might call it service, you might call it support. You're basically in relationship building mode, right? So that's all there is to say about this. There's really not much more to say about it, apart from to give you an example. And because I live in the ghetto, the ghetto of South Etobicoke in Ontario, I'm going to give you a ghetto example. Suppose my man, Chuck, sells bricks of weed. His game is weed. Now, you got to understand, if you're caught with a brick of weed, that's jail time. Because you're either have possession with intent to distribute or some damn thing. Or if you're getting that high, you got to be locked up for sure. Now, Chuck is going to follow the same thing. And Chuck, Charles Schwab, the corporate finance conglomerate, or whatever you want to call them, they're going to follow the same stuff, and you're going to follow the same stuff, and I follow the same stuff, and it works. And in fact, whoever is adding to this or subtracting from it or changing it is failing in his sales and marketing to the very extent that I'm going to describe. These, by the way, are called the 6 serving men. Ralph Waldo Emerson, I believe it was, the distinguished fellow who quoted Imam Ali, peace be upon him, in one of his phenomenal seminal essays, Self-Reliance. That essay, Self-Reliance, is the bedrock of American nationalism. You know, I picked it up in, this course, The American Dream, right? When you go to university in the States, they teach you this thing called the American Dream. And I was blown away. I was like, Imam Ali, peace be upon him, I'm a Shia, and this is amazing. Anyway, he said, everything I learned from the 6 serving men of who, where, what, why, when, who, what, where, why, how, and when. Something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and yes, it's all of them. And they're all W's, 5 of them, except for the last one. It's a W, but on the end of it. It's cool stuff. I mean, I get into stuff like that too, my dear sales and marketing enthusiasts. In fact, my Twitter handle might be cause of concern to some folks. They might think, well, who is this guy? Does he think he's a gladiator? Samulus Remus. So I had a friend called Todd. I used to call him Toddulus Remus. Looking for handles with sales and marketing, and you come up with Sam, right? Sales and marketing could just as well be S&M, sadomasochism. But let's go with Samuel's Remus, shall we? Okay, so Chuck, who's your customer? Well, yo, man, I won't be hitting up the dealers, man. They buy my bricks, they break it down into dime bags, right? So he's already planned out his distribution strategy, right? Okay, so who are they? It's these dime bag dealers. All right, these dime bag dealers. Where do they hang out, Chuck? Where do we go to find some of these cats? Well, you don't go and see them hanging out somewhere, man. You gotta like be cool about that stuff, man. You gotta go to a club. Okay, that's where. Or you gotta go to an online weed smoking forum. Some of them cats are hanging out in there in the chat rooms. That's where. It's online. Hey, folks, remember, where is online and offline? Obviously, it should be obvious, right? And there's only online and offline, by the way. There's no like third dimension where someone could be hiding out, which is not on or offline, right? So, or fourth dimension. Anyhow, who, where? Okay, so instead of what, you see, my dear viewer, when I explained it to you, it still came out correctly, logically, and sequentially almost, even though I reversed a couple of the steps. And I kind of muddled it up, I'll be honest with you, but it did work. But we will go to how. So, Chuck, these are your guys. They're hanging out in these clubs and bars and dives up and down Yonge Street or whatever, Queen and Sherborne, Shelters, whoever and wherever they hang out on. Yeah, he's not going to, listen folks, he's not going to go individually to each one of the corners in the whole of the Greater Toronto area, from Pickering to Oakville and from North York to the Etobicoke, especially not Etobicoke because his services are not required here. But, you know, he's not going to go there. When I say how do you reach them, that answers that question. Where do they hang out? After hours, let's say. Or how can we get in touch with them is really the question. I mean, how we get in touch with them is where are they, and then how do we get out there or something. So this right there, I know it because I'm thinking about it and my mental gears are churning. That is Chuck's issue right there. I'm just going to bypass that. Once he gets to where they are and says something like, yo, what's up, cats? Can I mind if I share one of these dives with you? Or whatever the hell goes on there. I'm being stupid, obviously. I watch too many movies like Pulp Fiction, but what he says is very simple at this point. I mean, he's like, listen, y'all, you guys get 0.6 grams for $10, right? Or you sell that stuff. I'll give you 9. I'll give you 9. You know what? You usually get 7.5 like from a guy like me. I'll give you 9. And the reason, and he'll explain it to them because they want to know why is it that he can say this stuff, because it's working both ways, my dear customer. I mean, the whole thing, as I talk, it becomes more and more involved. They're thinking the same things he's thinking. The customer is already ahead of the game. He's like, well, how are you going to give me this great deal? You're probably lacing it with cocaine. It's probably addictive. There's trust issues. Remember, the 3 things you need in sale are the cost has to be right, and you need to have a need. Like those guys need to have his weed, obviously, to be able to sell to their people, their dime bags, the dime bag users. But then there's trust. Do they trust him? If he rolls up in a Rolls Royce and all this kind of stuff, these guys are really smart. They'll be like, well, this guy probably is a player, and he plays people like us. He uses us. His profit margins must be so high or something's out of whack, because if it don't look right and it don't smell right, then it ain't right. But on the other hand, he could be this guy, just like in American Gangster or with Johnny Depp, if you watch the movie Blow. Johnny Depp basically went off to San Francisco, California, or the guy in the movie he plays, and it's a true story. And they started selling weed on the beaches. Then they realized, and this was their big move that they did, or not the big move, but the crucial advantage, the competitive advantage they had was the cost, because they knew a stewardess who could fly them super cheap weed from New England and Boston area and bring it to California, and they were just like minting money. By the way, those phases don't last. Don't think that if you're minting it today, you're not going to be begging for it tomorrow, because you will be. You're going to be in need of money tomorrow, regardless of how much you have today. Unless you simplify your lifestyle, sell off your business, go out onto like an island in the Pacific, live in a damn hut and just read books and munch on cereal noodles all day, or whatever that is. Munch on cereal and eat ramen noodles. So this is Chuck's plan of action. It's everyone's plan of action. Who's my customer? Where's my customer? How do I get to my customer? Okay, this is number 3. This is number 4. And what do I say to my customer? If you just answer those 4, you've done more than 80% of people out there. If you actually go through that process. Like, what do I say to my customer is predicated on what does the customer want? What do they need? What do I have? At the end of the day, this is what you're looking for, is a unique advantage. Like, basically, Chuck's unique advantage is that he knows some Hells Angels guys in British Columbia, and those guys have their own grow operations out there. They get houses, they fill them with weed, and blah, 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 blah. And then the cops come in 6 months down the line because the place is just like about to explode or something. God saves them or something in some way. But plan of action, once you have it out on paper, getting to the why and the when over here is pretty crucial. I'm not going to say it's the most important. I just added those in today when I was going over my thought process for this presentation. But if you do those 4, you'll have a solid business. It'll be a growing business. You'll be doing really well. And if you do these two are going to encompass your competitive advantage and give you a niche whereby no one can touch you, because anyone who buys weed knows that Chuck's the man. He's going to break it out for you. He's going to scale it out for you. He's going to bag it up for you. He's got different design bags, and you can give him your bags. You can even give him an idea of what you want in your bag. Hey, that's customization, by the way. And he'll charge a few more. He'll just say, listen, I'm just going to give you 8 for the next month instead of 9.5. If he's a businessman, that's what he'll say. Anyhow. So, what do you think, folks? If you like that, then give me a round of applause by sending in a comment or liking or sharing this or something. Do something with it. If you don't do something with it, you might as well not have read it. Seriously, does that make sense? And why you say what you say, and when do you say it? When do you say it is advertising? Why do you say it is more like the sales process management. So, once again, sales process management, you have the journey, the sales journey. People usually know about the seller's journey. And I want to talk to you about all of those things in future videos. Advertising, the overall messaging concept, you marketing, you messaging, and then the why, which is part of the sales process management. So as a buyer, you're thinking certain things and you're taking certain steps. As a sales guy, you want to reach the buyer, you want to make him interested, want to get him involved in the discussion, then you want him evaluating you and negotiating, and then you close the deal, so to speak. There's no such thing as a close. We'll get to that too. But that's just primer for upcoming events here on salesandmarketingforyou.com, or you can just subscribe to my my fledgling YouTube channel. It's still young, and there's a lot of work to be done, so help me out, will you? Thank you. Take care and talk to you soon.